What's going on, everyone? Today we are taking a look at the Aniioki AQ177 Pro Max e-bike. This bike comes in two different models which have slightly different specs, but the one I have here is the upgraded 52 volt version. Taking a look at the specs, this has a 1000 watt motor with 80 newton meters of torque, a massive 52 volt 60 amp hour battery, 20 by 4 inch fat tires, 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes, a Shimano 7-speed shifter, both a front and rear suspension, and weighs a whopping 112 pounds. So taking a look at the bike itself, this bike looks less like a bike and much closer to a motorcycle. As you can see here, the center down tube is just a ridiculous massive size, and this is because that's where the huge 60 amp hour battery is stored. This aside, this is definitely a nice looking bike. I like the overall white and black theme going on, and then the red on the rear shocks just adds to the overall sporty look. So moving on to the most unique part of this bike, and that's the battery. Currently, most bikes that are considered long range usually top out around 20 amp hours, and instead of doubling that, this company went ahead and tripled that with a massive 52 volt 60 amp hour battery. So as a comparison, this here is a 20 amp hour battery, and then next to it we have the huge Aniioki battery. As you can see, this is a massive difference. According to the specs, this battery alone weighs 30 pounds. So if you're someone looking for a lightweight bike, then this bike would 100% not be for you, as this is by far the heaviest one I've tested so far. Coming back to the bike, you also have a built-in rack, and it also includes the soft seat cushion as well. One thing I don't like is there are no rear foot pegs. So out of the box, you can't really take a passenger, as there really isn't anywhere for them to put their feet. I'm sure you can probably buy something aftermarket or rig something up, but in my opinion, this is something Aniioki should have already included. Taking a look at the lights, you have a large headlight up front, which has both a dual lens in the center along with a DRL around it. I haven't tested this at night yet, but from what I can see right now, this should have a pretty good output. Lastly, coming to the back, you have an integrated tail light that also lights up when you brake. This bike also has turn signals as well, which are nicely integrated into the tail light. Alright, so before I started on my ride, I wanted to show you something unique on this bike as well. So when you turn on the bike, all you see is this little icon here. Everything's disabled. You can't use the bike. In order to unlock it, they include these 3 NFC tags with the bike. So you'll carry this around on your keys, and once you go somewhere, the bike will lock, and nobody can start it. I mean, they can steal your bike still, but they won't be able to access the powered assist feature. So to unlock the bike, simply tap that chip right there, and that unlocks it. So nice little added bit of security to the bike. All right. Take 2 for this video. I just tried to do this about 30-40 minutes ago, but turns out I installed my front fender wrong. I had it too low, and once I inflated the tire properly, it started rubbing against it, so I had to take that whole thing apart. But here we go again. But first impressions, this bike is surprisingly easy to pedal. You would think, considering this bike is 112 pounds, you would think at that weight this will feel very hard to pedal. Granted, I am on gear 1, but very easy to pedal. I would say this is a very heavy bike. When I didn't have the battery in it, it was pretty easy to move around and move like normal and carry. But once you put that battery in it, oh man, that's when you really feel the weight of it. Because this battery is a little above 30 pounds. I believe it's about 32, 33 pounds. That's a lot of weight for a battery. Like I have some road e-bikes that weigh about that much. So that's like almost an entire bike inside of this bike as well. It's a lot of weight, even for a fat tire e-bike. I have a few fat tire e-bikes, and I think the heaviest one's about 80 pounds, somewhere on there, 85 maybe. And this one is, like I said, about 112 pounds, I think it was. It's a lot heavier. All right, going into gear 2, still very easy to pedal. Yeah, no matter what gear you're on, it's gonna ride pretty smoothly. For a fat tire e-bike, I'm pretty impressed, because I have some fat tire e-bikes where even if you're down on gear 1, you feel it. You feel that extra resistance, and you just feel like you're riding a big, clunky, heavy bike. But this one, honestly, it's not that bad. I'm definitely very impressed. I've seen from a few people that said it was heavy, but I don't feel the weight of this bike under me at all. And another thing I don't notice, which I also seen in other reviews, that people said it was hard to pedal, because if you look down here, this down tube is pretty wide, and people said that they felt like their legs were kind of spread out. But with this bike, honestly, I don't feel the difference. I feel like a regular bike. I mean, I can see it is a little bit thicker, but I don't really feel it that much. It feels like I'm pedaling like normal. So despite this bike looking huge and weighing a lot, it's really not bad to pedal. My first impressions, I thought this bike was gonna be like garbage to pedal and only for like basically throttle only. But no, this is definitely a very comfortable bike. And one thing I love about this one versus their A8 Pro Max or A8 Max, I think it is. Quick side note, this company has some weird names. This one is like Ace. See, only reason why I know the name of this one, because it's on the tube, it's AQ177 Pro Max. That's a lot. And I think they have another bike as well called the A7 Pro. Maybe they have an A7 regular, I'm not sure, but they have a lot of confusing names around that A7 thing. I think that guy over there probably thought I was crazy. I didn't see him there and I was talking, so he like gave me like a what's up look, like how may I help you? But I guess the downside of riding around talking to a camera. But yeah, these names are a little bit confusing to me. Instead of the A7 Pro Max, you know, they should just call this like the one, I don't know, Mountain Pro or Eagle Max, and some unique identifiers, because these names are all kind of the same. Going uphill here, and I am still riding without any motor. Not gonna lie, it's a little difficult, but I'll get through it. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, one thing I like about this bike versus the A8 Max is that one has this big banana seat, and it's kind of like a proprietary seat. So I read some reviews, people say it wasn't that comfortable, so they put like a pad on it to make it better. This one has a regular standard seat that's also adjustable up and down. You can switch it out, put your own seat. So I definitely like that a lot better. But I don't think I'll be changing out the seat on this one. It's a pretty wide seat, feels pretty comfortable. Another thing I like on this bike is the riding position. These bars, they're kind of long up, and the part where it attaches is down there. So even though this doesn't have an adjustable stem, because of how high these bars up, it's kind of like having a adjustable stem on there, because if you put it more back, it's closer to you. If you put it more further, it's further from you. So you can kind of get different riding angles depending on how you adjust the bars in front. Right now I have them a little tilted back. So this is a very, very chill upright position. I think I have them a little too back. My arms are a little bent. So I might put them forward an inch or two, but like I said, it's really good to have that flexibility there. All right, let's get this bike started. Like I said earlier, you gotta use that chip. So pedal assist 1, looks like it's pretty low, about 8-9 miles per hour, because as soon as I started pedaling, well, as soon as I turned it on, I didn't feel any assist, so I must have already passed up where it helped you out at. So let me go ahead and dial this down. All right, there we go. Kicks in pretty fast. It was maybe a quarter of a rotation, maybe less. That's good. I just reviewed a bike a few weeks ago where I had to spin the pedals like almost 2 times before it even kicked on. It was just awful. But this is pretty responsive. Let's see, throttle. Okay, throttle is also locked in to the pedal assist speed. So right now it's going about 7 miles per hour, which is in line with pedal assist 1. But let me see how quick that throttle kicks in. Oh yeah, throttle is definitely instantaneous as well. So throttle response and pedal response, both very good as well. So let's kick this up to pedal assist 2. Oh, definitely some nice torque there. I could tell this bike has some torque, because even on pedal assist 2, just to get me to that, whatever it wanted me to put me at, it lunged me forward. So it's definitely tuned to be a very torquey bike. Oh yeah, that's definitely some nice torque there. Had to switch up to gear 4, but looks like about 13.6-ish on pedal assist 2. Let me go ahead and hit the brakes and try this with throttle, and that'll give me the definite answer without my feet helping. All right, so pedal assist 2, yeah, 13.7, 13.6. So let's go ahead and try this out on pedal assist 3. Switch up again. Ooh, this bike got some nice power. Lots of torque, lots of low-end torque there. So it looks like we're already going in about 20 on number 3. Had to slow down. Let's go ahead and throttle only it. See what that's going on number 3. Slight uphill here, but it shouldn't matter because it's gonna push me to that number anyways. And it still has extra juice on top. So number 3 looks like about 20.5, 20.6. I tried adjusting these hydraulic brakes earlier and I feel like they're a little too loose. I don't know if they were just not tuned properly out of the box. Yeah, they're a bit mushy. Yeah, I definitely gotta tinker with these brakes. They are hydraulic brakes, but I'm not getting that bite that you would typically get from hydraulic brakes. The calipers look nice and beefy and they should work no problem, but yeah, I'm not really able to skid those tires. All right, throttle only, switch this up to number 4. Ooh, number 4. Already going 28 miles per hour. That's only on number 4. So this bike should easily be able to reach 32, 33 probably, because number 4, it's already going pretty fast. And you can see my speedometer is right in line with that there. Doing some illegal speeding through a school zone. All right, let's go ahead and try this max speed out. Is number 5 the top? Yep, number 5 is the top. Ooh, that's a nice torque. Even at 20, I feel it pulling. Already at 26, 27, 28. All right, I was definitely gonna run out of room, so let me go ahead and try it back. Oh yeah, I can definitely feel the difference between a 750 watt motor to this motor. It's just a lot more low-end torque, and also you feel more power in the top end as well. All right, one more time with a long stretch. $29.4, 30, 31. Ooh, 32.4. Ran out of space again, but if I had a little more, I'm pretty sure this bike will do 33 easily. Obviously that varies based on your weight. I'm about 180, so that's the speed for me. If you're someone lighter, maybe 160, 150, you might be able to do 34 easily, but I'm happy with 33. I'm not one of those people that ride crazy bikes like Surons or, you know, these bikes that go 40, 50 miles per hour. So for me, 33, that's plenty of speed for regular commutes. I mean, if you're riding through traffic a lot and you want to keep up with roads going 40 or more, I can understand where you'll need something like a Suron and all that. But for me, I'm just riding through my town, hitting the bike path. So for me, this is plenty. And the fact that this has a 60 amp hour battery, okay, typically if you have a bike and you're going 33 miles per hour and it's only like a 15 or 20 amp hour battery, that's gonna eat through your battery so fast. You're gonna get maybe 10 miles or less. But with this that has a 60 amp hour battery, you're gonna easily still be able to do 25, 30. Honestly, I have no idea. I've never ridden with a 60 amp hour battery, so you might even get 35, 40 miles with a higher speed as well. I mean, I definitely got to do, I plan to do two more videos with this bike. I plan to do a pedal assist only, which that's going to be a pain in the butt, I know for sure, because this bike is supposed to get, well, they claim 200 miles on pedal assist only. Realistically, I'm going to say you're going to get about a 150 maybe. Again, I don't know. I've never had a bike with such a huge battery. Like I said earlier, most bikes top out about 20 amp hour. That's like the usual, the common long range bike right now. So this company just skipped right over 40 and said, you know, we're gonna do 60. And that's some serious battery. Unless you're really, really riding a long time, I could see a lot of people just charging this bike once or twice in the summer and just riding that entire time on the same charge. But that's a whole lot of battery. And then they say this bike's supposed to get 100 miles
On throttle only, again, I'm not sure if they're talking about pedal assist 1, pedal assist 2 or what, but most bikes always rate a bike on the higher side. The same with cars, you know, they always want to say this car gets 30 miles per gallon of gas, you know, that's just marketing. So I'm definitely gonna have to try this bike out and see how much you get on throttle, real world situation, like a fun 15 to 20 mile per hour and up speed, because if you're riding on throttle and you're going, you know, 5 miles per hour, that's not realistic. No one's gonna be doing that. No one's gonna buy a 1,000 watt bike to go slow speeds. So most people, I think, are gonna be riding this about 15 to 20 miles per hour and up. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna, once I get the time, I'm definitely gonna do, I plan to do 2 more videos, like I said. One to see how much I can get real world on pedal assist, and then another how much I can get throttle only at realistic speeds. Suspension feels pretty good. I ride through some bumpy areas and it definitely feels pretty plush. I do have 1 or 2 more bikes that I like the suspension a little better. I'm not saying this one is bad, but personally I prefer a suspension that's more plush, because I'm not really doing off-road riding. So I don't need the rough, hard suspension. And with the weight of this bike, I don't think it's supposed to be off-riding anyways. So I think I would prefer the suspension was a little softer, but overall not bad. I'm happy with it. I'm glad to see the derailleur was also properly set out of the box. At least 60% of all bikes I get, the derailleur is a mess. There's only like 1 gear that properly works, and if you try to shift it up or down, it starts clinking and clanking. That's because the derailleur is not set properly. But this one, every single gear, nice and smooth, nice and calibrated, so that's a good thing to see. But I guess it's a bit of trade-off because, like I said, my brakes don't seem to be properly adjusted. But once I figure that out, this will be definitely a great bike. Quality-wise, it feels good. Everything feels pretty solid. This motor is not that quiet. I mean, it's a 1,000 watt motor, so higher speeds it is gonna get a little louder, but I mean, that's just the nature of how the motors work. But yeah, I've had some bikes with very cheap motors. You can kind of hear them and how they function and how they run. They just don't sound very solid. This one definitely sounds nice and good to me. Yeah, I'm glad to see bikes like this happening, because before, a while back, 20 amp hour was like, whoa, that's a big battery, you know, I'm gonna get pretty far. But once you factor in higher speeds, that's where that battery, it's not as big as it sounds. I mean, yes, it gets you pretty far, but if you're someone that likes to ride long distances, that's where that battery is kind of like, okay, not too much. That's where people start adding second batteries to their bikes, even triple batteries to get that longer range. But this one has one huge battery. It's beyond custom bikes. I don't think anyone has a 60, actually I know nobody has a 60 amp hour battery that comes this way stock. I think the most I've seen was like 30, maybe 35, even on a custom bike. It's very unlikely anyone's running a 60 amp hour battery. If it is, it's definitely not a bike like this. It's probably like a Suron or something, higher power like that. So it's good to see bikes like this starting to come to the market. This is like a perfect long distance commuter. If you're someone that does Uber Eats or DoorDash, this is going to be like an excellent bike for that. You could probably ride 4 or 5 hours delivering food and you're still going to have a lot of battery left. Depending on your speed, you can go the whole entire day and still probably be good, and you're going to save a lot of money that way, because when people do DoorDash in cars, that's a lot of money in gas. But this, it's going to cost you probably 50 cents to charge up this battery, and you can go ahead and work all day. So yeah, this is like a perfect blend between a bike and a motorcycle. It still has the fun of being able to pedal and cruise around if you want to, but if you want to commute somewhere and get there quickly, just go throttle only and you're gonna get there pretty fast. And then you don't gotta worry about gas, you don't gotta worry about maintenance, and it only costs about, I haven't checked the price lately, honestly, but I know it's somewhere around $2,000, maybe a little bit above that, because this is the 52 volt version. There's a 48 volt, then there's a 52 volt, and then there's also a few different battery sizes. This is the 52 volt, 60 amp hour, so this is like the highest one that they offer. Another thing I saw on the Aniioki website, they also sell a power inverter for this battery. So it's like a separate little pack that you connect to this battery, and then you can use this battery to power, your TV or charge your phone, charge your drones. I don't know what the wattage was. I think it was like 1500 maybe. But if it was like around 1500, then you could connect a heater to the battery. So basically you could take this bike camping And since the bike is so huge, you're not gonna go through this battery on a camping trip. So you can go ahead and while you're not using the bike, go ahead and charge up your phones, put on a light, do whatever you gotta do. And then when you're done camping, just get back to riding. So it's pretty awesome. You could have this bike as a bike, and then when you're not using it, it's also a good source of backup power. So yeah, if you're looking for the ultimate long-range e-bike, there is nothing that is going to beat this bike. So 100%, I definitely recommend this bike, which is again is the AQ177 Pro Max from Aniioki. All right, well, like I said, I'll try to make another video soon, but that about wraps up this video. So as usual, if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop me a comment and let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.